So,
In my house, it's probably what you hear. I think y'all have heard that before even.
One jumped on me.
Yeah, that was, one time he would really want to hear him.
okay, the items that I have to go through and present to the council is we had a proposal from Alabama Power Company about LED light project. And in that proposal, is where they were going through, and there were several locations that we had a meeting with them to talk about LED lighting. And right now they have provided contracts to upgrade lighting at 57 South Mount Pleasant Street to LED, which I think is right over there behind the police department. The entrance to 298 Whetstone Street, I believe that is
The rec
right,
center.
Fire Station 2.
That's the rec center. Yeah, and then we're the 280, the fire station.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the rec center. 360 Whetstone.
Miss Larry.
That's Public Works, I believe. Yeah, 360 Whetstone is Public Works, 280 Whetstone is the fire station, 298 Whetstone is the rec center, and 57 South Mount Pleasant Avenue is right over here by the police station. In order to upgrade these, we do end up signing a lease agreement with Alabama Power. And if the council is on board with doing this, this does result in us saving money on those lights. So if the council is in agreement to enter into this lease agreement with Alabama Power, we will proceed. I'll ask for a motion in the council.
I mean, if there's savings, there's not necessarily no conversation with trying. Why would he negotiate anything different? Right? you did well.
Better luck and lower cost.
Yeah.
Now, in the future, and I'm going to ask Sam Schott to come to our next council meeting, because that's to talk about conversion to LED lighting in the city.
Yes.
And I'm not going to even attempt to explain it because there's so many different variations in there. I will leave that up to the people that know what they're talking about.
I mean, there's still a lot of lights out.
Well, I talked to Sam today, and they have actually gone back and he said they finished up. I wrote it down here, but yeah, they have finished up all of the lighting. See, we provided them a whole list, and they had gone through, and he said they had finished up with
The one on Veterans is still out.
Veterans
Now,
still out?
we got one first one tagged and turned in. I turned it in myself,
Okay.
and it's still out.
Well, we'll go back, and he said that
The
he
one
will be-
closest to the new piping.
Okay. Okay. He is coming back to provide us some the different rows of that tape. So if we see them, we can.
I've got a roll. So
Okay.
I was kind of waiting for them to get started again to start tagging them again.
All right. But they have been working on them to go through and work at getting them in place.
I think Mandy turned in a police department with themselves and did a bunch of them.
Right. Okay. I know Michael did, and his people have provided on this. So, I know they've been working on them, so that might have been one they missed, but we'll get marked and provide that to them again. Okay. There was an item on here that we had some discussion about, and that we came from the League of Municipalities, and was talking about the municipal debris removal fund. And going through and having some discussion, we asked the attorney to look over it. He had several questions in there on the concern. This is not part of an insurance or anything like this. This would be where the cities would contribute to this fund in case you had, well, like for instance, what we had with Sally and Zeta. But it has to be declared as a disaster area by FEMA in order for them to make the payments. So we're still going back and looking at the pros and cons, and because there has to be a memorandum of understanding done by a city attorney, and he has requested some more information. So, I guess that'll be an item that we won't move forward with looking at this time. Yesterday in the department heads meeting, I had the question that came up. What do we do in situations where you have things like happened last night, and you have people who don't have power, or they don't have anywhere to stay or anything of that nature, with temperatures being like that? And I asked about, if we had a facility that could be used for that. And in that discussion, the only facility that I know of is the nutrition center out there. But I couldn't find anywhere where there was a pre-event plan. Everything seemed to be post-event plan. And I don't know if anybody here has any knowledge about the constraints on it or anything of that nature. Now, I think that I was told later this afternoon that it may be at the discretion of the mayor as to whether or not to, initiate the protocol to open it. So I guess instead of asking for any action by the council right now, I need to go back and verify, any constraints on it.
Would there be any more requirements than like with a FEMA situation with a hurricane evacuation area? The same requirements would fit into that or not?
It should.
I mean, I would think that there's rules for that. They're very easy to enter into this case. But as far as the authority to do that, I don't see no problem granting it to you as much as anything, for the fact that you're going to be right there when it happens and trying to find everybody else and what to do.
And the biggest thing I think is, if when you're looking at FEMA and their declarations for evacuations, you're looking at people being there long term, possibly more than 5 days or so.
Yeah. But if they require you certain things, no
Right.
pets or this and that, and certain things you can bring in, then there'll
Right.
be some restrictions there.
Exactly. And here, I don't see anybody staying there more than 2 days.
Yeah. We still have an active generator there, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's the only spot we have that we would have emergency
Right.
services for.
Right. And I would concentrate here on, people inside Monroeville, even though you may get some others, but,
You're not gonna house many of them.
not right. Okay. Next item that I came up and wanted to bring before the council is the receipt of refund monies from ATIP in the amount of $28,903.60. And the suggestion that I would like to put before the council is that we are in the process of trying to let bids for some street resurfacing. And when we got into that process of looking at it in District 1, I think we had one street in there that we were going to look at spending about $5,000 on. And I would like to add this to the resurfacing project and try and do one of those streets that was Wiggins or Sunset.
West Wiggins.
West Wiggins and Sunset, and to apply this toward the resurfacing project and look at doing one of those streets.
What is this money coming from?
It was a refund from the project out there working on the intersection there, Drury Road and South Mount Pleasant, I believe.
All the TAP grants that we
Yeah.
received, we had leftover funds for, so those are all from 2014 to
Okay,
current.
that's what I was wondering from what
Right.
time.
They're just some residual grant funds, and we cleared it with the engineers that we could put this money towards street resurfacing, so.
Be fine.
Okay, I would probably need a motion to put that into the resurfacing monies And
We-
then it's
Mayor.
up to us.
You
Yeah,
think we could add Tucker Drive to that list?
I'm not sure it's gonna be enough to do that right now,
Oh,
Ms. McDaniel.
Okay.
Wherever we have left over, you know, because we're not exactly sure what the bids are. If we got less money than if we have more money than what the bids require, then we'll come back and have a discussion and see if we can look at that one too.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
all right. Um,
We deposited that into the capital improvements account, miscellaneous revenue.
okay. All right. I'm gonna ask, would y'all ask Ms. Bruton to come in? Because I want to talk about litter. Well, wanted to go through and discuss, you know, litter. And I think you have a campaign that's coming up. Is it Alabama Pal?
Yes,
So would you go ahead and kind of brief us on it?
yeah, I called up there because we were getting close to time. And, so they went ahead and put the information up on their PAL site for their spring cleanup through the state. And they're gonna go ahead with the COVID regulations. They're gonna do it the whole month of April. We did it when COVID was new. We didn't know a lot of information. So we just kept expanding it because a lot of people, businesses were closed. So a lot of people were using drive-throughs or takeout. So we extended it all the way to June because it was something that people can walk outdoors, get some exercise, and still do some cleanup. So what we normally do is we'll schedule a date with Kiwanis and Rotary and any other groups. But with this year, the schools can't do off-campus stuff. So we'll do a time where we can schedule drop-off information with the schools here locally and give them bags, drop-off bags like we do each year, and gloves. And they could do their own cleanup on campus, and those bags will count. So that'll be like indoor, outdoor, and then our spring cleanup counts with that, with those numbers. So that's what we do. But it's extended through the month of April. But he says that we can extend it and they will take our numbers all the way out, you know, and I could tell him that. He goes, that's fine. So we can extend it further and keep it open if Billy Wayne doesn't mind them being by the fire department and getting access to the grabbers and the gloves and stuff like that with a ID. But that's where we're at with it. The numbers were low last year because of the COVID situation. But we did pretty well with us because we utilize it with our city kids camp too. When we do our cleanup at our camp. So I'm allowed to put those numbers in with it.
Okay. Now, the reason that I bring this up is as we drive around Monroeville, I don't know if y'all notice it, but I see a lot of wrappers and cans and things of this nature out there. And, you know, we want this to be a beautiful city for tourists coming in, looking at it for economic development and all of these issues. Now, what I hope to, I went back and I was looking in the history that they had a litter task force and that had been put together. And so that is what my intentions are, is to begin to do that. But I would be looking for any suggestions from council members, somebody to be to lead that task force. And I'm not exactly sure. I know this is something that we came up and we talked about. I'd like to put together a campaign to get this done to include litter enforcement. Because it's like I say, I know during times of COVID, I know people, they're doing a lot of stuff out in the car. And, we got to encourage them not to let the window down and throw it out. So that's where you're seeing all the stuff piled up side the street. So that's kind of where we stand. Like I say, if I'm gonna be looking, and if anybody from the council has suggestions of somebody that can help lead this task force and get it on track and get it moving, I would appreciate your input. And so we'll come back. Okay. Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Okay, I got 3 other items on here, and that's why I asked Michael to come in. The first one is that we got an issue at the bypass in Alabama 21. The markings on it, when you pull up there, I know that the markings on the inside were intended to be turn lanes. But people are taking them to be passing lanes when you pull up and start at the light. And when you go to take off, you got somebody there next to you. First thing they want to do, they trying to pass and cut over and that type thing. So we were looking at it, and we have a proposal here to change the traffic controls markings at Drury Road and the bypass. And it was from R&R Construction, and what it includes, I don't know, did we get a chance to send this out?
No, sir, I didn't get it.
Okay, can we make a copy of it real quick? Basically what it does, it remarks those turn lanes. So the inside lane where the arrows are currently on, that would become a turn arrow. The outside lane would indicate traveling straight ahead or a right turn arrow. So, to eliminate, I don't know what they're thinking, it's.
I know that I was in on the original reason for doing it like I did. A very large amount of traffic comes from Vanity Fair, Harrigan direction coming towards town to turn right at that light.
Mm-hmm.
This gives them opportunity for that traffic to keep flowing. If you have the turn signal in the middle and the straight on the right coming this way, those people are holding up all them people wanting to turn to the right. And it's worked well so far on that. That is the reasoning for when it was done, because I actually requested that, and Brenda was on board with it when we did that, because it was in both of our districts in that area right there. But that was the reasoning for it. I do understand what you see some of the people, if they see a person going straight and right, they know they got to get over, they hurry up instead of slow down and let that person go first. Mm-hmm. But that was the reasoning for it. There's a lot in the evenings, there's a lot of traffic coming out of the Fair when they take off and Harrigan about the same time. It gives all them people to turn right without somebody holding all that traffic up for the light to change.
So, all right.
And now if a truck is turning left, and a lot of trucks coming from that way, we used to be Temple also.
Right.
If they're coming towards town that way, they can get in the turn lane, and then they can go ahead and make that move like they would if that was a turn lane all the way down. If you're coming towards town from that direction, right, there is just like at that other light over by Subway, at 4 o'clock when everybody lets out, there are probably over 100 vehicles trying to get out of there at one time. And people over time that use that pretty well realize if you're going straight, you go ahead and get in that middle lane. If you're turning right, you get in that one. That traffic just keeps flowing without the light having to change and right on red. And that was the reason for it. It may not have worked out quite as much because of what you're seeing happen right there, but that was the original reason for it. And now
it hadn't worked out that good. Because it hadn't worked to me. It hadn't worked out that good. I would rather for them to have to wait, because when I go home sometimes, they look at that as a passing lane instead of, getting over. So it causes.
I see some of what you're talking about because I witnessed it several times a day. But I also see that flow of traffic works pretty good coming out of there from people who want to turn right at that light. Because a lot of the ones that come that direction wanting to turn right, the ones who want to go the other direction go around by the subway in over there.
Okay,
I'm just saying the reasoning for it. It maybe not has worked out quite as well as we thought, but what I see in the evening works fairly well.
so, let's see. What I'm seeing is that when I pull up to the traffic light on Drury Road coming into town, okay, the other lane over there, it has the arrows, but people are
But the other lanes don't have an arrow until you get across the other side.
right.
There's no arrow on the side that you come up to a stop at.
That was intended for somebody making a left-hand turn off the bypass, for them to yield right away, whenever they want. If they're gonna make a left-hand turn, that gives them time to turn in on the inside lane, and then they can get over into the outside lane.
Right,
Right.
That's what that was intended for.
but that's not how people use.
That's not how they use it.
I'm not arguing with the fact that how people use it versus how it was intended.
How you-
I'm just giving you some
Yes,
background
sir.
of why it was done.
Yes,
It was done purposely like it was done.
I understand. And, that's kind of like if people understanding how to use the square.
Yeah.
You can go around the square on that inside lane all day
All day
long
long.
and don't have to stop.
Yeah.
But people see traffic light, they stop.
Yeah.
But somebody sitting there now. Is that traffic camera on?
No, it's just a satellite view. It's Google Maps.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
Yeah, that's on the other side.
over here
Yeah.
at this one.
Now,
There it is right there.
if you're in those turn lanes,
Oh.
It's a big area.
No,
Right
to the left.
to the left.
To the left, over
Yeah,
here.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it right
okay.
there.
That's to Virgil.
That's where you go
Take
across.
the merger, that's right. Yeah.
That's
See
where we
what's
go across.
happening on the other side on Drury Road is where,
Does the same thing.
The same thing.
right, but see, when they pull up there, what they're doing,
I know.
they're going straight across.
Some of them are, yeah, and they realize that person did not turn, so they're gonna try getting ahead of them
Mhm.
when they do that. Now, if they accomplish that,
It's an
what
accident.
you think it's causing an opportunity for accidents or?
Accident.
I mean, I haven't seen any close calls, and again, I use it probably 3-4 times a day. Same, and you're in the same situation. You're coming from over there. You're seeing it all, bro.
Happened to me a few times.
Yeah, you coming that way too?
Mhm.
Yeah.
To me, you got 3 distractions right there on that side. If you got somebody coming off the bypass on the Drury Road and got somebody coming across, that car in that that right-hand lane is watching the one in the left-hand lane and the car merging in off the bypass.
Yeah.
If you in certain situations, you coming across the bypass, if a car in that left-hand lane and one coming off the bypass, you're actually trying to watch 2 vehicles at one time and make sure don't need one of them come out in front of you.
But when we put a traffic light up like the one on, by the credit union, have an arrow going back to the left, like to get on the bypass.
Well, now you'd have to go through the DOT, and get that. They would have to actually do a study and all.
So that would be better if you do it that way, but if
Well-
people turning off left, going back on the bypass, because you got an arrow. See what I'm saying? And then you keep the flow of traffic coming from Harrigan to the left.
If you pull up in the turn lane on either side
Right,
and there's no traffic on the other side, you will get a turn signal.
that's right, you do it.
That's just what happened. See, right now what's coming up when they come up there on Drury Road right there.
Yeah.
There's a turn lane.
That's right.
Okay, instead of them making the turn, they go straight across to get over to the other lane and then cut you off.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because
Just make
in a
this
sense,
up.
the way they mark, that's the way they can interpret it. They don't realize that they get across unless they travel it often, that they have to get over to one.
Yeah.
Then you got somebody coming in here.
That's the biggest thing of that, because there is a good bit of traffic coming in from that way.
But see, if we made that, if we restrike that side over there to where it's left turn only,
Right here.
instead of trying to go across and merge, I think your signaling is much clearer.
Mhm.
And on that side, not where your arrow is, they're moving over, but the lane next to it. If you mark that as a left turn. And so that's where the confusion comes in. I think you got arrows on one side and they interpreted that, yeah, I can pass somebody here and then get back over in front of them.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Since that's a state highway, should we get DOT engineers to give us an opinion on what to do about it?
That whenever the Drury Road redone, the DOT actually approved that plan. But now, and it was up to the city pretty much how they wanted to mark it out as far as the lanes and all.
We're the ones that came back and added arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. They did that, and then we came back and added the arrows.
The only thing DOT suggested is not to make it to have the turning lane come all the way out here.
Yeah.
They wanted to leave the 4 lane back so far from the interstate.
Yeah. I'm remembering the part that we were involved in. We were the ones that did the arrows.
Yeah.
To try to help change that to where people realized they did have to get over it, but they couldn't go straight right there.
I got a meeting with DOT on Thursday, and I asked Michael to attend it with me. I want to go through and have a conversation with them about it then, and then we can bring this back up next council meeting.
You're welcome to.
Okay, all right. Next item that came up and wanted to discuss, and this has to do with basically the traffic aisle. And it comes back to talk about includes the purchasing and installing of 109 plants and what the plants are. I don't know if you guys have a copy of this or not.
Oh, I didn't see.
No, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Make copies.
Well, while we're there, make a copy of this one too.
I'm gonna take it away. Sure, I'll text it to the rest of them. when I get there.
Basically what it is that, the last meeting that I went through and I had with the garden club, they basically told me that they didn't have enough members to go out and to do the same things that they were doing with the traffic islands and the plant boxes and things of that nature. So we had money that was set aside for the purpose of purchasing plants and getting them installed. So we have a proposal from Southern Farm and Supply that will take care of all of the plants and the pine straw and everything in the traffic island. That includes buying the plants and putting the plants in
And if they need to add some topsoil.
and need to add topsoil to all of it. And I think it was over 109 plants in all, but all four of the traffic islands. And that amount came out to like $8,400. And we already had money set aside in the beautification fund for $14,791.72. And this is where the funding would come from to pay for having that done. The second item has to do with the planter boxes and the large pots located around the square. And their proposal is to include purchasing and installing 34 Japanese used and 3-gallon pots beside the crate motors. It also it gives a guarantee on the liveliness of the plants when they install. However, if something happens to the plants after they put them in, then that's not covered. It includes putting the pine straw in the crepe myrtle beds after the planting, It includes planting bedding plants in pots one time, that's for springtime only, and the bedding plant ideas to be planted are Venca, potato vine, Gerber daisy, and what's that, Angelonia?
Sure.
And if you- The other three I know.
Yeah, yeah, I plant peas and butter beans, I can't tell you about this. But anyway, that total comes up to $4,400, and which also would come from the beautification fund. So we have the funding to go ahead and do this. Now is the time of year that if it's to be done, that we should proceed with it, to get these preparations done.
Okay, the price included says based on 17 beds and 8 pots around square, but then you turn around and the 34 Japanese use 3-gallon pots besides crepe myrtles. Is that purchasing those pots also?
No, that's what they're gonna put by the crepe myrtle. Yeah, one on each side.
Do you have, is they gonna, will they grow that close to that many in that small bed?
Oh, they just be two, one on each side of the crepe myrtle.
In a pot or in the?
No,
in the
they'd
bed?
be in the ground.
Is there,
They
again,
just come in 3-gallon pots.
but are there room to support?
Yes,
Them
sir,
that-
because there's some in that one bed over there, by Mike Coffer's office.
That seems like pretty close.
Yeah.
Close planting, and those crepe myrtles, they're all pretty heavy. I just,
Does he have a visual?
Huh?
Does he have a visual of what this would look like?
I don't think so. Now, as far as the island, now, if you want to get a visual on them, it's basically the same thing they've done over at the shop.
are we getting into an issue again with the state about those islands?
No, sir. All these plants here be within their regulation.
Because we were talking about what we were gonna do before, we'd have to rework those beds.
Well, now, that's if we redone all the topsoil, took the topsoil completely out.
Okay.
And all, because and what we're going to do there is replace the curb.
Yes.
Because once we start taking that topsoil out, the curbing's already messed up. And you're gonna lose that curbing.
Okay. Okay, all right. Well, if, I'll bring this up in council meeting. I think this is something that we probably need to go ahead and move on so that we can have the islands in presentable as the spring gets here, and hopefully we'll have an influx of tourists. We want the city to look as beautiful place as Monroe can be.
And it's budgeted for, so we don't have to come up with any more money.
Right.
All right, if we get close to time, we got, public hearing 4 or 5.
Let's see if I can take this out.
How
We got some people up there. I'm gonna see if I can log in from here.
Is there a reason not to go back out there?
That's what sound.
Sound, okay.
We got a mic ordered, but it's not here.
Right. Do we want to go out there? What do you guys want to do? I got
I mean,
it on my
is
phone.
the audio firing up here? Then
It's
let's
the
go out.
audio's horrible.
Well, then we might as well stay here if that's the case. We can go out there and do the pledge, or we do it in here.
We can do it in here. Amanda brought the flag.
Man's a good flag bearer.
She is. All right.
I'll move down on that meeting so that.
Do you want to go down there by the names so they can all stand and everybody can see on here? You know who's doing the invocation? Do we have the invocation? No.
Ms. Thelma, do we have anyone for the invocation?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay.
Larry gonna do it.
Okay.
Larry,
I'm here.
okay.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, the many blessings that we've received as a city and as individuals. Heavenly Father, we just pray that everything that's said and done tonight in this meeting will be in your will. We just pray now that you be with all of the sick in our community that's fighting this deadly virus, and just pray that you'll be with them. All these things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and call our public hearing to order. And the purpose of the public hearing is a review of the ABC application for a River Run Stewart Distillery located at 736B South Alabama Avenue in Monroeville. And we're open for public comment. Mr.
Is anyone there for public comment? Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Corey? He is the entrepreneur. Come on in.
When are y'all ready to get started?
We're gonna have a state inspection on Friday, and if everything goes well, we'll have some business in May.
Okay. And the location's gonna be there, definitely what?
Like I said, 736B, right in front of the Terminex building, South Alabama.
Okay.
We have the state of Alabama ABC license application. We received it. It's been approved. So, I have a motion to approve the state license.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next item on is the approval of the local license.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Corey.
Do I have a motion to approve the local license? Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Ayes carried. Okay. Thank you. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing? I so move. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, me too.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we've already had the invocation, pledge of allegiance.
Call the regular meeting to order. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call the regular meeting to order at this time. We had the invocation, pledge of allegiance. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes for the work session on February 2nd at 3:30 and of the regular meeting that's held on February 2nd at 5 p.m.?
I make that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution. No, I'm sorry. It's an Arbor Day proclamation. This time I'm going to read, and it says Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And trees reduce the erosion of our precious soil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And trees in our cities increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And whereas the city of Monroeville has recognized as a Tree City USA by a National Arbor Day Foundation for 35 years and desires to continue its tree planting practices. Now, therefore, I, Charles Andrews, Mayor of the City of Monroeville, Alabama, do hereby proclaim Thursday, February 17th, 2021 as Arbor Day in the City of Monroeville, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Proclaim this the 16th day of February 2021. And I've signed it.
I'll correct it.
Okay, we just go ahead and sign it then. And I will pass it to the council members. Ask for your signatures.
Oh, there, let me go see if I can. Mhm.
Can I interject on Arbor Day?
Yes.
So we're going to have our official Arbor Day a week later on Wednesday, the 24th at the dog park. We planted some new trees out there, and if anybody has some spare time, like Melvin's wife can come out with her dogs and enjoy the dog park and enjoy the new trees. That's it. It's at 2:30 in the afternoon on the 24th.
All right, thank you. Okay. We've been through this work session. We have received a bid for the community house project.
That one was the correct information.
Oh,
Sorry. For him to kind of, do you, did Tim say anything?
He didn't say.
He didn't
just
say
said
that over there. Okay, we'll just find one.
He just announced the.
Okay. Michael?
Yes.
Let you take a look at this. So we received the bids from Hammer Construction. One bid is $49,965. The other bid is what, 61,000?
61,235. Now the 61,235, that's with removing the old pavers and replacing the new pavers. Now I asked questions about which one everyone thought would be more lasting, And the pouring the concrete with the brick stand is gonna be the one that's we're gonna get the most years out of. The brick pavers, even though they go in there and tear all those pavers up and redo another sand bed, it's still not guaranteed that you may have sinkholes come up in the next few years. Even though the ground could settle more. At least with a slab, you do have more protection for your brick, for your pavement. It'd be all made into one. And if it ever was to crack, you can actually come in there and level it back up with that, new system they got with a slab.
Yeah. Evergreen concrete get bid.
They didn't be able to do the medical and my health problem. I talked with them last week, and the one that actually does it was out. And I actually told them that, just talk to Mike, and if he wanted them to do it, but they chose not to do it.
Okay, so the most expensive one is the one that can do a little paver package.
Yes.
Hey, where's this at?
The only thing that we need to do, we have to see what samples they got as far as the colors. They said they probably couldn't match them back to the original color of those pavers that's there, but they could get it close.
Okay, somebody have a question?
I finally heard it. You talking about pavers at the community house?
Yes. So, like, we only had one person to bid, and the Public Works recommendation is for the $49,965. To
actually pour slab.
To actually pour slab and then do.
They'll be covering the concrete.
Yes, that was in the bid for it to be.
Okay.
So the dye or whatever is in the
Yes.
color is in it.
So if they were to get, only thing we would have to do is every so many years, just reseal it. Of course, once they get through it, they'll put a sealer on it. But over a period of time, the sealer's gonna wear. So, it depends on the traffic on it and stuff. It may be 4 or 5 years, But we still need to put it in place where nobody pull vehicles down there. If they get to spinning on it, and that's showing up on where the sealer on.
Okay. So we're looking at 49,965. That's pretty much consensus. Okay. That being the case, I need a motion to accept the bid from Hammer Construction for their bid A option for $49,965. Do I have a motion?
That's so good.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. I will get this. We'll pass this one back to the clerk. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 21-02-005, and that's an award bid for Sterling Building Improvement. The let me put the name of the company. iPhone. Okay. Okay. We have a bid. There was only one bidder for the improvements to be done at the Sterling Building here in Monroeville, and it was submitted by iPhone. The total bid is $220,000 to replace that roof in the conditions that are in it Tim,
Cover the roof, not replace it.
right, cover the roof. And they would come back every 10 years to do an inspection of it to make sure that we didn't have any issues with it. There would be no charge for them doing the inspection, and any repairs to the material they would do at that time.
Barring some kind of catastrophic, like a tree crashing on it or something like that, which is not gonna happen because it's too tall, but that kind of.
Is there a warranty, although we got into the warranties before, on this for how many years?
It's a 10-year renewable warranty based on inspection. So would they come inspect it? If there's some, they don't anticipate wear and tear on it, but if there's wear and tear on it, they will touch it up and renew the warranty for 10 years, inspect it, touch it up, keep going. That warranty is with the roof itself, with whoever owns it. So it's not just with us, it's with the roof.
Okay, but again, is there, you're saying, what's the end of this warranty period? Is it 10 years, is it 20, is it 30, or?
It's a 10-year renewable warranty with an anticipated life expectancy. But they can't put a life expectancy because they haven't exceeded one yet. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And as we go through and talk about paying for it, what I was proposing is to use $200,000 that we received from the IP building sale, and we have $20,000 in the contingency fund. And that would be how we proceed to pay for having this done and the city not incur additional debt.
Yeah. Is there also the fact that we've talked with Sterling about, is there any recouping any of this revenue? I mean, this expense? We have anything in a contract or a verbal or anything on that?
No, sir, not at this point, but we are going back to talk to them about it. They had made mention of it initially. We wanted to go ahead and work through and get the repairs done because, you know, this time of year you come up with a lot of rainy season. And so we will be going back to discuss that.
And now that we know the price that we are going with, we can enter that discussion.
I think I've asked this question before, if there's any other options, but we've already decided to go this direction. But did we look at going with a completely over cover, not take off, but recover over the top of the existing building with metal?
We haven't looked at that because
Somebody told me that was an option and I didn't.
I think I've kind of discussed it with a couple with Strength Roofing. They don't think that's an option because of the way the roof is. The roof is out of square. So whatever you put back on is still going to be out of square.
I didn't know if it was structurally can support that. I didn't know if that was the additional weight.
I don't know.
Okay.
The engineer that designed that building had passed away. So I think it's out of Bay Minette, but he's no longer around and we don't have a drawing on it.
Okay.
So
I was just hoping that we would have seen a price option on that, though. We were having to go this route.
But everyone that the metal people that I talked to didn't think it was a feasible idea. You have to you can't, if you lay metal over the metal, you still got the problem that it doesn't line up as a ridge.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, but for $220,000, I mean, I find it hard to believe that there are no other possibilities. I mean, the other possibilities may be more expensive, but you know, I just really and truly don't think we have done our due diligence. I just don't believe it. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I apologize if I am. But you know, to me, we just going with the first thing that came along. I haven't seen anything else that makes me believe any different. That's just my opinion. And
well, I think
consequence, I'll be voting no.
I think how we arrived at this point was this is the material that Sterling wants on the roof. they are
It may
willing.
be, Tim, but we don't know how much skin they gonna put in the game. If that's what they want, then they should be required to, we should know what they're gonna put into.
Yes, sir. And-
I
and
mean,
what
it's
we
our
discussed-
building, it's not theirs. The building belongs to the city.
Yes, sir, and we have a contract with them to buy it from us. So we are trying to put one of the things is we're trying to put what they have asked to fix the problem, because the integrity of the building that we supplied them is invalid. And so they've asked for this fix. So we are trying to put this fix on the building. They have now, once we decide and we have a number, we can go back to Sterling and say, this is what the cost is going to be. This is what we're going to add and work out in negotiations about a rate increase on their rent.
Well, maybe we
But
should do
we
that
discussed
before
it
we
before.
agree to do it. You know, maybe we should go back to them before we agree to spend $220,000.
Well, that's a discussion for y'all to have.
Tim, didn't Mr. Jim say they would use this thing as a pipe roof and
A different kind of.
We can do an addendum to the lease as well. The lease agreement with the payments and increase the rent payments, and then should the building sell to Sterling, then whatever they've already paid us back towards the building, we can incur with the sale of the building as well.
I mean,
that's Right, what yeah.
we discussed.
So now the drawing board is at the Sterling, the lease agreement.
Okay. Either way you go, you're gonna end up having to fix the building, and what you stuck with now, you fixing the problem we just not create. Because if the building had been properly inspected and it was built, you wouldn't have this issue of the roof not lining up. I don't.
I'm still concerned that down the road, especially with the situation we got into with another building we have, that if this was a product that was going to work, it was by a contractor that we knew was approved and a warranty with it from the manufacturer and that, and then we're sitting here with nothing. And that's not the knowledge of knowing. I mean, I hate to say we're in a situation we've got to do something. And this is maybe the only option, and I'm somewhat Larry's concern. My concern is this the only option still of preparing this situation? But if it is, and everybody's comfortable with it, then go that direction. If it's guaranteed, and we got somebody that, I don't know what guarantees are good for anymore. That's my concern. If we got a product that's guaranteed to work, and this is a good option to go because it's kind of simple.
Well, I think the product has a track record. You know, it's been used on the Pentagon, and you know, considering everything that has happened there, I'm quite sure they did their due diligence in going through and making sure that this product stood up with everything that it was advertised to do. So, and you know, like I say, this is an issue. I know we've gone back and before my time that this has constantly been an issue with Sterling. We've gone through and tried other fixes and everything. You still got the same problem.
And this keeps them in operation too by doing this route. It's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's why I had asked about the going over with metal on top of metal, and somebody that's in the situation that answered that question said you could. And that's why we didn't have that as an option to look at. It may be twice as much, right, but at least have that as an option to look at.
Okay. All right. At this point, resolution 2102-005. Do I have a motion to accept the bid from iPhone Industries to address the issues in the building improvements for the Sterling building?
I'll make that motion in interest of taking care of our tenants.
Do I have a second?
Can I say something? Yeah, I want to go back and see things we keep talking about money back.
Wait a minute, what- Yeah.
Addendum to the
Yeah,
lease.
we're gonna be doing.
Contact.
Okay, motion being properly second. Discussion, I think we already had it. Okay, all in favor? All opposed?
Not trying to help the tenant, but I'm just feeling uncomfortable of our assurances on it.
Okay. Councilman Ruffin, are you in favor or opposed?
Pose.
Okay. Councilman McDaniel, were you in favor or opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. All right, next item on the,
Excuse me, that did not pass in.
Board two,
So where does that leave?
we'll have to go back to the drawing board.
We could be leaking every time it rains out there. Possibly lose our industrial.
Can you look at metal roofs? Should we just put out another bid for a new roof? Leave it vague instead of getting,
No, we have to be specific. We have to talk out this.
What's the next step? I mean, if we're gonna go back, this thing got put back in, we're just gonna keep on prolonging this, what's the next step?
we decline the bid.
Well,
Well, I'm saying that, what's the next step now?
we've had this roof system on the discussion since September.
It's been a while.
So I don't recall anybody saying you need to do 3 or 4 different systems because Mr. Hickson wanted that roof on that building before he buys it or to solve the problem. So I wasn't given instructions to go out and get a price on a metal roof. Now, if you want me to do that, tell me now so I know what I'm doing.
I would have voted with this if we probably, and I hate to say it probably, if Jim himself said this is what he wants to fix the issue. Because there's some question about if this product or similar product is what he wants to fix. I know he wants to fix the issue. No question about that. That's one. And the other is if we have a warranty that seems like it's stronger than 10 years. I understand what you're saying, but what do they have? If you have a copy of their written warranty?
Yes.
What they propose?
Yes. Okay. And Mr. Hickson brought us the product. I spoke to him 3 or 4 times about the product. He held the product in his hand and he said, this is what I want on the roof. So I thought we had covered that in our previous meetings. So I apologize if I wasn't clear that he was specific about that.
So y'all need to know what he needs to do before we do this again. So this, like I said, we into the rain season and it's just getting worse and worse. We've been going through this every September.
So we want a motion to postpone the resolution to the next meeting to get more information.
We can do that, guys.
Or do you-
Can I get a motion?
If Jim would be willing to do this without, without imposing on him to a point that we may not, if he feels uncomfortable about doing this, but I would feel better if I need to go see him for myself. That may be what I can do.
I suggest then that if I get a motion to postpone this resolution into the next meeting, we'll get Mr. Hickson here.
Instead of it dying too.
Could you repeat that?
If I can get a motion to postpone resolution 2102-005, which relates to the Sterling Building improvement until the next council meeting, at which time we can have Mr. Hickson present, to, address some of the issues that have come up.
I'll make a motion.
I make that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
I,
Uh,
and I'm agreeing with y'all, we need to get this done. That's what
I was paying rent, it wouldn't be rented.
I'm agreeing. But his assurance that he's comfortable with this. And we do knowing is an amount of where we are, can we discuss that?
I'll discuss that with him.
That would help also.
I will discuss that with them also.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Republic Service Contract Renewal. I think we have. Come in. Hello. How you
We won't
doing?
see you again for how many years?
Christmas. Yeah, exactly. Good thing. Yeah, and May for the scholarship. So,
At this time, we have the Republic Service Contract Renewal. Do I have a motion to approve the contract?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have one thing. Can we get, like we used to get several, like 10 or 15 trash cans, to keep out the public works? I know y'all pretty busy on the whole county and the city now. It just take a long time for somebody to get a trash can. It used to be like,
look, I think we kind of discussed that last time.
Yeah, the chance of you can go into the chance for people getting duplicates and somebody actually be specifically control over that, and they were, that was kind of the reason for. We've gotten the numbers out of hand. We've had any kind of audits and things.
No, we hadn't done the audit, so we're scheduling. So what happens is when you get them over there, there's no accountability for them or whatever, and they kind of leak out into the community. And that's one thing that we've been talking about, in the last meeting, to do a part audit, kind of see where we're at on that, because I think we were looking at it and there's only like 3 people that pay for 2 carts, and if you drive down any street on trash day, you see there's multiple cars at the house. So, but I mean, there's some broken ones over there that we're supposed to be. I've talked about we're supposed to be able to remove, but we may be able to fix those. But that's part of the reason we don't do that. We did that for a long time, and they kind of disappeared.
There's room for problems occurring.
well,
They
I thought maybe like if somebody, you had 15 and you take 15 other broken one back, get 15 or whatever, you know. I mean, take one, give.
Well,
take one, give.
we've done that. I mean, we've done that system before, but it becomes an accountability problem. And so the solution we came up with now is they'll call the city will email us, and then we'll handle the deliveries and stuff like that.
The reason why I brought it up, it just takes so long for a citizen to get one. It may take 7 or 8 days. It take a pretty good while.
Yeah.
I have a pretty bad issue on South my
Yeah. Well, and I know we're working on that, and I've talked to my people too, but sometimes if it gets bad, call me.
Okay, I will.
I mean, if it's like, because especially if it's a new customer, now if it's a replacement, they got to go out and stuff. I mean, it's a little different. A new customer that signs up with you guys, we should have it there.
It was a new customer, that's why.
Yeah. If it's 3 or 4 days or whatever, you call me.
Okay.
Especially if it's, trash days coming. So, but we're working. I mean, we had those discussions.
Okay. Appreciate it.
But yeah, if it gets bad, let me know.
Okay.
You take the vote yet?
We had Thelma motion, Larry seconded.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
You're good, Roger.
Okay, next item we're on the agenda. And I guess we should ask Ms. Thompson to come in. The first item is to set a public hearing for sales tax rebate for new business. To be set at March 2nd at 4:50 p.m. Ms. Thompson. Well, I guess I need to go ahead and do the motion first. Do I have a motion to set a public hearing for sales tax rebate for new business?
Blackman.
That's a move.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, now, discussion.
The new business is LLC, and they're asking for sales tax rebates for the next 5 years. And they're planning to open April 15th. We'll have 3 full-time employees and 4 or 5 part-time employees with an average 8 hours of 18 hours a week for the part-time people. They're asking that you all vote to approve that sales tax rebate.
Okay. The motion on the floor to set a public hearing for March 2nd. It has been properly seconded. We had discussion. All in favor?
And we're not approving this time, we're just.
It's for a public hearing. Okay. Next item on the agenda is an addendum to the Queen City Market Sales Tax Rebate Project Agreement, which we had some discussion in the work session. All in favor? I'm sorry. I need a motion to approve the sales tax rebate project agreement. This will be the revised, as we discussed. Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. Discussion?
If it's as we agreed in discussion.
Yeah.
175,000 benchmark and anything over
Right.
at the first year after operation.
And it's renewable.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Okay, I see here where it says that we have a community house refund request.
Yes, sir. They've canceled their, looks like a birthday party or family reunion, birthday celebration for April 17th, and we've moved it a couple of times. They originally held the reservation or they made the reservation May 1st, 2019 for April 18th, 2020, and they canceled it then and rescheduled it to April 17th, 2021. But they, due to COVID, they're requesting a refund. They're just canceling the event completely. So they made the reservation back in May of 2019. It was an older reservation. It was before the March 1st.
So we have before us a community house refund request. Do I have a motion concerning this request?
I'll make a motion, but I didn't make it. They don't know that.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I think we're down at the point in which matters to be presented by the mayor. And we do have a concerning the LED lights, and there is a lease agreement that has to be signed in the locations that were identified earlier. I think that was at the city shop and a location here on South Mount Pleasant and one at the Recreation Center. So I'm seeking the approval of the council to enter into this lease agreement with Alabama Power for the installation of the LED lights at this location. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So move.
Okay. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor? Okay. The other item that I want to bring before the council is the receipt of $28,903.60 received from HIP refund, and to place that money into the capital improvement fund to be used for street improvements. Do I have a motion? I'll make that motion. All right, do I have a second?
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Okay, the next item that I have is a proposal from Southern Farm and Supply. Have a proposal for $8,400, and this is to purchase plants and do the installation of those plants, apply in fan straw or anything that's needed in the traffic island. And do I need to do these as separate proposals? Okay, let's try and do them all as one because it all comes from the beautification fund. The second proposal is for the planter boxes in large pots around the square, in which we have 17 beds and 8 pots, and where they would be purchased and installed in Japanese use, and also planting Baker, potato vine, Gerber daisy, and Angelonia for the total of $4,400. Do I have a motion to accept these proposals from Southern Farm and Supply to be funded from the city's beautification fund? So moved. Okay. Second? Okay. Any discussion?
There is no maintenance of them, correct? After the planted.
They're low maintenance.
No, I'm talking about, they're not gonna maintain them at all.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, they're gonna water them?
It's in their contract to maintain all the plants.
That's gonna be part of the other,
everything,
okay, that was, I didn't ask that earlier. and I'm gonna
Yes,
clarify.
it's part of the contract.
Then why not, we have some guarantee of livability on the plant,
Wait,
if they're planting them and maintaining them.
it's kind of, what they're saying, if they get disease or something,
Yeah.
they're not responsible for
You know,
that.
like Lowe's guaranteed them for a year, you know, if you buy a plant from them, they'll pay you back.
No user error?
But anyway,
That would be a question for me.
I think there should be some liability on the plant material if they're planting them and maintaining them.
I'll speak with them about it.
I mean, does that not make, that's why I was asking, I didn't get, I missed that, I forgot that they were gonna be maintained, make sure they were maintaining these. We lose, and it may be one or two, and it's not gonna be a major expense for them to do that. Part of their, how they plan to maintain them, if we're gonna have a plant next year.
Well, the thing about the ones going in the pot don't want to be seasoned.
Yes, sir, I understand that, that's
Yeah.
fine, but the trees,
Yeah.
the shrubs is the ones. that-
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of the agreement with Southern Farm and Supply? All right. All opposed? Okay. All right. Okay, I think that concludes everything that I have to bring before the council.
Do you want to talk about the creek coming into the lake?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're nearing completion on the lake project. However, there is a issue that we found that contributes to it that Michael found out about it, and this is far upstream. And this is, I don't know if this came from when that dam burst upstream or what, but you got all that sediment that has built up,
No, the other one, you just, no, go back.
This one?
Yeah.
and it's way past the bridge up there. And when you get a lot of rain coming in, what's happening, that water is washing all that sediment down into the settling pond. And Michael's proposal is to rent a machine to go up there and remove all that sediment and move it out and make a channel.
That through gravel?
Yeah, it's gravel and thing.
Yeah. And we'll go back and fill in on the other side and put some rock in there to stop erosion on that side over there.
Go back to the picture.
Like that?
No, the other one. Oh, yeah, that one. See, the water is actually all the way over to the bank now, and seeping out from under the bridge.
Hold on, hold on.
We need to move it.
Gotta get it to where everybody can see it. Okay.
We need to get this creek bed moved back over to the center of the bridge. Because it's eating out on this bank over here, and it's gonna make the bridge collapse on it if it keeps on going the way it's going now. Now, but we cleared some of the trees out of the way, but it's gonna take a mini something on tracks to get down in there and get that out of that creek. Now I'm figuring, if we could rent one for a week, we could go ahead and get it out. Go back to that picture where I'm standing on the bridge, taking the picture back towards the road.
Whose property is that on?
We actually own 400 feet from the right of way of the road back behind. You go back 400 feet. No, the other side.
Make him do it.
That one. This one right here. That's on the outlet side where they had dug out.
Hold on. I gotta get it to where everybody can see. Okay.
All right. This is where they actually had dug all the way up to the bridge. They had that, let's see, 2.5 weeks ago, they had that right there about 6 foot deep. Today, you can go over and look, it's way on out here now. That it's done filled in. So you give a few more rains, it's gonna be out into the settling pond and over next to the lake. If we get, I'd say 3 or 4 more good rains.
You're talking about this is on the side before it goes under the culverts, under the road?
Yes.
The
That's
new culvert?
Yes.
Okay.
It's constantly inching its way to it.
See, that's that big pile of sand and gravel you saw upstream from it. That's where it's coming from.
So our engineers couldn't check this out ahead of time.
That's what I'm saying again. Why are we finding this out now?
Well, the thing about it, whenever they first started this, I don't think that it was actually in their scope of work. What the city got them to do was actually go upstream and see what's up there. Because, that would have been more of a survey type deal up through there. And it really wasn't in the scope of work that we were asking them to do.
I think one of the things that happened was nobody really had any clue that much sediment was coming in, prior to them digging out the sediment pond.
So it is, now you go over it now, we done cut a lot of that brush out of the way. It was just out of sight, out of mind. And we've gotten a lot of trees cleared, cut down, going to get in there and dig some of the stumps up. But it's going to take a mini-X, something on tracks to get down in there and get that stuff out of there.
Is that not the purpose of the settling pond?
To catch that stuff.
To catch that, and then for us to maintain the settling pond.
But the thing about it, if we don't get this out now,
we won't have it.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
you don't think we're gonna have to go all the way back to Highway 21 to clean out, do you?
No, sir. We've looked back up in the woods. Now the beavers actually got a good dam back up in there.
We let them stay this time.
Yeah. They actually got a good dam back there on Mr. Jones' property. So I think if we leave them alone back there, and as long as they don't come out and mess with ours, we'll be all right.
Build a fence.
How much is the?
Okay, now project how much it's gonna cost.
We can rent a mini X for $1,000 a week. And we should be able to do it in a week. And what I'm looking at is the rain's supposed to move out of here Friday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning. And it's supposed to be sun shining all weekend. And then next week's supposed to be in good shape. I think it's one day there's like a 50% chance of rain.
We need to take care of it before we quickly start messing up.
We actually done a little bit over today. I'm trying to do what I can with our equipment we already have. But, you know, there again, there's only certain things you can do with certain equipment.
While we're talking about lake, is there any opportunity to push that big dead tree on the dam side kind of over that may fall on the road one day? I think that's spillway.
It's actually on the golf course, the county property. And I tried to get the contractor to do it, but where he would have to grab it and try to push it, he didn't like the idea. So it would take a tree trailer. Now we have actually went over with our bucket truck, and it's gonna take a 100-foot bucket truck to reach it.
I thought with some of the equipment they had, they could push it.
Well, that's what I was thinking, and we asked them about it. Could they just take the track hoe and push it on back down in the woods? But he was scared. See, he didn't want the liability if it come back on him.
Yeah, that's a real safety issue right there with that thing, because
usually dead trees fall straight down, not over, but they start just deteriorating down. But the deal, it's gonna go somewhere.
yeah, it's been coming down piece by piece.
By piece.
You need a motion before you do rent the track over? All right.
How are we gonna pay for
Well,
this?
that's one thing we need to.
The ABC contingency? That's the only account I can think of. For 1 week,
For 1 week.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Rain or shine.
10 hour days.
Yeah, right, Saturday, Sunday, 7 days.
Well, now, wait a minute now.
Ah,
40 hours.
Rent, like, let me explain on rent. When you rent it for a day or a week, it's 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Any hours you go over,
They charge you that.
that's gonna be.
They got little clocks on them things.
Yeah.
Run in reverse.
Oh, you want to be car dealers up?
Okay, all right, do I have a motion to allow the Department of Public Works to rent equipment to, based on a quote of $1,000 a week for the purposes of cleaning backfield at the roof? Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? So carried. Okay, all right, at this time, I'll, first to any matters to be presented by the council. Councilman Ruffin, any matters? Okay. Councilman McDaniel,
No, I don't have anything.
Councilman Hines,
No,
okay. All right, any matters to be presented by the department head? Jackson,
no, sir.
Steve Black,
No, sir.
okay.
Good to see you back.
Thanks.
Captain Sermon,
No, sir.
okay. Anything else? Right. Tim Ball, anything?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Ms. Atkins? Okay, Ms. Bruton? Okay. All right.
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting of Monroeville City Council.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Beat him to it, Anthony, I got you. All right.